Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Talking Stocks After Close with Dr. J and Kamal, coming to you from Long Island, New York, broadcasting, streaming live coast to coast and around the world. Mark is greeting us from the Granite State, New Hampshire, I think, if my memory serves me right. Concord. That's where it all began, right? I think. I'm not a history buff, but I believe that was a shot heard around the world or something. The revolution. Speaking of war, the war is affecting uh, live free or die. Yeah. All right, so I have it mostly right about New Hampshire. Anyway, what about what's going on in Ukraine? Do you think that's why the market was down? I mean, it's hard to say because it was the same war that caused the market to go up the last 3 days.
Correct.
So if you blame it on the war, how do you explain the up days?
I believe it was all priced in, and they thought it's going to be much worse, and it wasn't. Like it's going to be more expanded, but it was contained within Ukraine only. And I think that they will eventually take over the entire country and put in a like a puppet government that's pro-Russia.
And that's what the market is counting on.
Right. It's like what they did with Chechnya, what they did with Georgia, like all the countries around Russia. They basically went in and they placed governments that's pro-Russia.
Meanwhile, the defense stocks and energy stocks are zooming along with, I don't know how the metals, I think all the commodities are doing well.
Right.
And Bitcoin, I think was up today again a little bit. I didn't look carefully at my portfolio today, but I was too busy playing with CTIC. I sold all my CTIC at like $3, and then I spent the rest of the day buying most of it back because I'm convinced that it's a $10 stock. It's approved for use by patients with a disease called myelofibrosis, which is a blood-borne cancer. Now, there's only like 21,000 people in the US that have that disease. But 70% of them or so would be eligible for this treatment. And of those 70%, even if only like 4,000 or 5,000 take this treatment, that's a lot of money because they're getting 20,000 a month per person for the treatment. So if you do the math, so let's see, let's figure 200,000 a patient per year. If there's 1,000 patients, that's how many? 20 million? 200 million? 200 million.
Right.
And so if there's 4,000 patients, that's 800 million. And if it's worth 800 million, just in revenues alone, there's a multiple attached to that. So it's probably worth 3 billion. Right now, market cap is 200 million.
Oh, so that's more than tenfold.
Yeah, it's more than tenfold, but I'm thinking conservatively fivefold by the end of the year, if it doesn't get bought up first. I think it'll make a move to $5 plus soon. I mean, I don't know how analysts are all going to come up and raise their targets after the earnings call.
I used to own it.
After the call about the approval today.
I used to own it, but I wasn't patient enough like you. I sold it a while ago at a little loss, but I used to own it.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of excited about that one. One of our followers that was in the peanut gallery yesterday didn't own any of it until he saw the show, and he bought a ton of it in the aftermarket, or for about $1.90 a share, and you could have sold it for over $3 today in the free market. So I don't know what he wound up doing with his shares, but he was very happy. To me, it's a no-brainer to own this stock. I mean, there's always things that could go wrong. One of the problems, if any, if there is one problem, there's something called the platelet count. Platelets are part of the blood, related to anemia. And if the platelets are low, they all have low platelets in this disease. But if they're below, I think, 100,000, then they have to be treated with transfusions and all kinds of stuff. So I think they got permission to. The label says below 50,000, so it excludes a certain amount of people. I don't know if I got my numbers perfectly straight, but something like that.
So what's a good entry? Do you think it's going to pull back a little?
Well, after I sold for $3, I've been trying to buy back. So I bought back like 2/3 of it. I bought some at 270 something, 280 something, 290 something. Then I wound up paying the last batch. I paid $3.08. I didn't buy it all back. I bought 2/3 of it back. But I probably will wind up buying it all back, or plus maybe. I'm convinced that it's going to go at least to $5 short term. The analysts have to raise their targets on this, I think, because even though the label says whatever it says, 50,000 the platelet count. If it's 75,000, so what? The doctor could still prescribe it. It's not that they can't. It's their discretion, And the competition is nil. The competition is nil. It's a drug from Insight Pharmaceuticals called Jacari, and it doesn't work. It basically doesn't work. It does very little for these people that have this type of myelofibrosis. It's a subset of the entire class, but 70% of the 21,000, I think, have that. I'm not sure of all my numbers, 21,000, maybe a little off, but roughly, I'm giving you a rough scenario why I think it's a $10 stock. I didn't do my homework properly, but off the top of my head, off the top of my head, back of the envelope, with a lot of assumptions, but I still think it looks good from a fundamental point of view. And we can take a look at the chart, which I think we should do. Linus is here. Hi, Linus. Sean is here. Linda's here. Jota's here from Miami. Mark, we said, is here. So let's share screen. Also, yesterday I was on the money with the Bitcoin. I think it had a decent day today, didn't it? Well, we'll find out.
Yes, it's a bit up.
NTLA and Albo was a request. NTLA got hurt because of a patent dispute. CRISPR got hurt for the same reason. Editas benefited from the patent dispute. A lot going on in the world of biotech. Target buy, we're going to take a look at the chart. I've been buying back, just grabbing, literally, without giving it much thought. If it was lower than what I paid for it, I was happy,
If
it was lower than what I sold it for, I mean. S&P today down 1.5%, Dow down 1.76%, NASDAQ down 1.6%, Russell got slammed, almost down 2%. Oil up 10% to 105.34. BOFA is favoring the home builder stocks. Didn't you buy nail? How's your nail doing?
It's below below what I bought it for, but I still have it.
Okay. Apple is down. Spiders are down 1.58. We might as well start with the spiders. Give it a look. Arjun said double retest of the 420 area. But he also said we have a top tomorrow at 445. I don't think that's happening, Arjun. You never know. It could. So when you look at the four candles put together, it's still a pretty good move from the bottom to where we closed today. I mean, Thursday's bottom was 410, and the close today is 429. That's a 20-point move up or 5% move, even factoring in today's give back. So what we have is extreme volatility, but I think we're still heading in the right direction, up. Looking at this chart. So exactly what it's going to do day by day, I'm not sure, but I think the general direction is up. I think we're going to see 4,800 before we see 410 again.
That's great.
I think the bottom is in. I don't think we're going to see a retest of the 410 area.
I definitely agree with that.
Okay. Arjun disagrees. He thinks we will revisit it, or at least revisit 420. That's pretty likely. Revisit a 420, I could see. You know, if we come down to halfway down that big engulfing candles, we would get strong support, I think. Let's see where that comes in. Halfway, we also would probably be this low. Yes. 420 looks like it's such a logical place to retest. Doesn't it? I mean, you got the previous low, and it's exactly halfway of the body of that big green candle. This I wouldn't doubt. 420 is almost likely for a retest. I just don't think we're going to retest 410 or go lower. So, I'm calling it with a fine-tooth comb. I'm not giving myself much room for error. But I think I'm right. But I've been wrong many times. So even though I think I'm right, it doesn't mean I'm right. As always, our opinions are strictly our own and do not constitute investment advice. Check with an advisor before acting. Do your own due diligence. While we make people money, that's the idea, to make us money and help make people money. But all we do is really talk about what we're doing and look what the charts are saying is from our interpretation. My interpretation of this chart is a retest of 420 and then zoom up. Doesn't have to retest 420, but I think that would be the main area. If we continue to fall tomorrow, 420 should be the support, strong support. Okay, what else did I want to look at? I wanted to look at Bitcoin. We're up another 5%. Is that right?
Yeah, 4 something percent, or 5%.
Wow. I got to pat myself on the back for adding more and more Bitcoin as it was going down. And I think it has bottomed. And I think this sequence of higher lows is foretelling the future. We get past the 100-day, we're going to go up and test 49,000.
It's highly likely, yes.
Yes. So I see a retest of the 40, not a retest, a test of the 200-day moving average, 49,340. Very bullish, but Bitcoin. I'm sorry, Bitcoin. Very bullish, but very bullish Bitcoin. That's a tongue twister. Very bullish Bitcoin.
Do you see the rally at the end of September on the same chart?
at the end of September.
Yeah, look at those nice green candles, like maybe 7 or 8 of them, right there to the
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's right. We might get something like that. It took us all the way to this peak.
Right.
We went, it dipped down and went even higher. Yeah. I don't see the head and shoulders pattern here. It looks to me like this is going to turn around and retest some of these highs. I think it's going to go to all the way back to make new highs before the end of the year. Very bullish Bitcoin. And I've been adding this. What have I been adding? GBTC. I've been adding Mara. I've been adding MSTR. I bought some more MSTR today, along with my playing around with CTIC. Today it was up only $21 or 5%. Not a bad move to 464. I don't remember what I paid for it. I really don't. But it's bumped up against resistance here. The old high was taken out today of 463, and it closed just above it, just above this line that I drew. So that's good enough. Tomorrow it continues up. And I think the target on this is the 100-day right up here at 580, 585. So I very much like MicroStrategy. I very much like GBTC. Let's take a look at ETHE, Ethereum. All right, ETHE. I'm looking at the actual chart of Ethereum against the dollar. It doesn't matter. It's basically the same chart. It doesn't look as quite as appealing as Bitcoin, but close. And it has the same sequence of higher lows, and it's got a more modest target. Let me draw the first resistance area here. It's got to take out a couple of little peaks. This one, followed by this one. All right, so let's say 3,200 and 3,280. And then I think it probably shoots up to the 200 at about 35.63. Ethereum looks good. Bitcoin looks good. I think they're both going to make new highs. But don't forget, Ethereum is the crypto of choice for NFTs, along with Solana. So that looks good. Mara looks good. And probably any of the miners probably look fine. Bitcoin miners. Mara looks very good. It bumped up against the 50 today and fell back though. Still up 2.88% to 26. Had been as high as 27.50. I think it gets through this area of resistance, and again, targeting for Mara, we're targeting the 200 moving average at $35 a share. You can chart any of them, Riot, Hot. Let's just chart quickly Hot, another miner. Chart doesn't look quite as good as Mara. I think Mara is probably the classiest of the miners. Riot. Again, I like Mara better off the charts. This looks okay though. Riot looks okay.
So crypto looks like it's recovering.
Yes, definitely. Gaining, not only recovering, but gaining Momo.
Right.
Do you think the oligarchs in Russia aren't buying Bitcoin right now?
Probably they are, because the ruble is falling apart.
It's collapsing. And
Right.
with being cut off from the banking system with SWIFTs and chips or whatever it is,
Right.
you know, Bitcoin, you can't cut them off.
So it's probably a safe haven for them, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of countries, in fact, are buying Bitcoin, in my estimation. Some of the central banks might be. We don't know what's going on, but you know, they're all worried about the current value of their paper as we enter into an
Correct.
inflationary spiral. Request. Take a look at NTLA. NTLA had problems with a patent. They lost some kind of case involving patents. They had some excellent news on data for their trials, but the patent news rocked them a little, hurt them a little. We had a retest of support today. It passed the test. You know something? I would just buy this.
It's probably at its absolute low.
Yeah, I would just buy this. And what was the other one he asked? Albo? Albo might be a different story. I don't like this candle. I don't know whether it was earnings today, what it was.
What happened? This was like 34 or so.
Maybe it was earnings. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm not happy with this candle.
You have it? Do you have I don't have any
No,
albo.
I never bought. I sold it at 25, never got back in.
Mm.
At this point, if I owned it, I wouldn't be. I'd be very unhappy.
Yes, of course. That's a really terrible candle.
Yeah, look, the support is at 100. If it retests this low, I might just. If it breaks this low, today's low, I'd get out.
Wow.
25.81 area.
It was doing really well when all the market was red. This thing was
I
green.
know, I know. It looked like blue chip the way it was before performing. Didn't that? It really did. BCRX had another good day, I think. Up 1.26%. Not great, but it's okay on a day like today, right?
It
Anything
was much higher before. It was like 1720s.
1747 the high today.
Right.
Yeah. Looks good. Looks good though. I mean, you know, being up at all on a day like today, and it's still in its forward motion. It hasn't gone through the support levels where I picked up more at 1544. That's why I had perfect timing on that one. I'm happy. I mean, you know, it's gonna go up and down, but I think the direction is up. I think one of the brokers came out with a raising their buy to $20 from $16 today. I think it was Oppenheimer.
That's
So
really nice.
that helps. Doesn't hurt. So that's BCRX. What else did I say I'd look at today? Um, I don't know.
So the marijuana stocks, you think they're dead for now?
Looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to be in marijuana stocks heavily at this point.
true.
It's you could have a little nibble if you want just to keep your foot in the door, but it doesn't look overly appealing. You need some legislation,
Oh yeah,
coming out of Congress.
yeah. If they legalize it, then they're gonna fly high.
Yeah,
But the world is not worried about it right now.
but at
Nobody
least
cares about it.
decriminalize it. Do something. It's ridiculous. The laws are ridiculous. I'm a card-carrying member of the medical marijuana community. You know, I think everyone should be entitled to buy marijuana if they feel they need it for a headache or whatever they got. It's probably on a par with alcohol. Alcohol is legal.
Right.
All right. I was never much of a marijuana fan, to be honest with you. In college, I seldom used it, unlike all my friends.
Honestly, I've never ever used it. I've never ever smoked a cigarette in my life.
You're not missing much in my estimation. But then again, I wasn't into it. So,
Right.
um, I'm not going to say that you should sell it. It looks okay to hold it, but it doesn't look like it's going anywhere, Tilray, for example. You're probably going to just to be in a trading range for the next, I don't know how long. It may be relatively safe compared to other high flyers, which are going to get the air knocked out of it if there's a bear market. So to that extent, it's probably okay to stay in it. I just don't see it breaking through this trading range anytime soon without legislation.
Right. But for long term, it's probably a good entry right now.
That's what I mean. You can own a little bit. Own a little bit. It's okay. That's how I see this one.
So a couple of people on the comments are mentioning that there is a state of the union address by the president, and hopefully he's going to calm people nerves down a little bit. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll have a better day tomorrow.
Either that, or people will be looking up in the sky, like in the Cuban Missile Crisis.
I don't think we're going to get to that point.
I remember as a kid, when it happened, 1961, Cuban Missile Crisis, standing outside whenever there was a loud plane, I'd look up and was that the bomb. And they had us hiding under the desks in school, hide under
Right,
the
but
desks.
I believe now the communication is a lot better. Back
Yeah.
then, I guess the communication channels wasn't as clear as it is today.
Well, the thing is has Putin become unhinged? That's the question.
Yeah, I'm not pro Putin in whatsoever, but I see his point protecting his country from NATO encroachments, getting closer and closer to his borders.
War always has two sides.
True, I agree with that.
And furthermore, it never accomplishes anything for either side.
Like I said, I think this is gonna last for maybe a month or two, and they're gonna withdraw and place their a government that's pro Russia, and that's it.
Yeah. And Biden may just ease the tensions a little bit, enough for the market to rally tomorrow.
Right.
That would be nice. Give us a little present. So CRISPR is the other one I wanted to shot. It got killed along with Intelia, along with Beam. All of these gene editing plays that I was happy about yesterday, not so happy about today. But I still like it from Thursday until today. We're still up significantly. So with it all, it looks fine to me. A little pullback is to be expected. There was an excuse, namely the patent dispute that went against CRISPR and Intellia, and it went in favor of Editas. And let's see how Editas did. I think Editas might have been green, slightly green.
Right.
Yeah, but even though slightly green, way off its peak, where you see it was a red candle. Slightly green meaning that it was up from the close yesterday, but opened at 1930 and fell all the way back. So hardly a bullish day. even though they kind of won the patent dispute. There'll be appeals, all kinds of nonsense. All right, so I think we covered a lot of ground. Anybody have any comments?
Any thoughts on Sava? I'm still in the red on that one.
I keep oscillating between the black and the red, believe it, depending on whether it has a good day or a bad day.
Right.
I'm in it to win it, Sava.
Me too. Holding long term.
Okay. Anyone still believe in? Yes, people believe in growth stocks. Dr. J believes in growth stocks. RK will have its day. RK will have its day. Kathy Wood. No, I think and stocks like NET, NET, DDOG, DDOG, Palantir, PLTR. There's room for all of them in your portfolio, probably, in my opinion. They'll come back. Or stocks like Arjun loves this one. I'm going to put this one up. This is a CrowdStrike. This is a cybersecurity play. And considering the wartime environment and the threats of cyber attacks and so on, the cyber stocks are a little bit hot. Jota approves. Okay, that's it for today. We don't want to go too many minutes beyond the 30. We're 1 minute over. Signing off. See you tomorrow. Take care.
4:15 tomorrow?
What's that?
4:15 tomorrow?
Probably, yeah. Let's stick with 4:15. Okay, take care, guys.